mission. As individual Christians, we have the right, freedom, and I think we have an obligation to vote. And to vote for the person who best represents or stands for biblical principles. Sometimes that's not a wide gap, but that's our choice. Now, remember, as Americans in this country, we have men and women who have shed their blood to give us that freedom. Again, we have it, so I just think we need to use it. In the last election, there were actually less people who voted on the, let's say, the conservative side of things than they were in the election 4 years before that. In other words, Romney got less votes than McCain, let's put it that way. That's 4 years. And that's because in the wide world called Christendom, all those who claim to be Christians, all those who claim to believe in the Bible, they stayed home. And so what happens? We get the less. Sometimes we talk about the lesser of two evils, and that's not a bad description. But I think we need to look at it, who best represents biblical principles. We don't have to agree on all things. We're not going to in politics. We can't even really get that in the church. But we're certainly not going to get it in politics. But the people who are elected are the people who make decisions. And if we don't like the decisions that are being made, then let's elect somebody else. Those people who are elected also appoint Supreme Court judges. And if we don't like the decision the Supreme Court judges make, the only choice we have is to elect somebody who is more conservative, more apt to appoint a more conservative person. And by conservative in the political realm, I mean those who adhere to the Constitution and Bill of Rights. That's what conservative means, adhering to basically the whatever the law is. So that's our choice. That's really the only thing in the political realm that we can change is by our vote. Be active locally. Christians should not be sitting around doing nothing but just complaining. Start locally. All politics is local. Start with your city, your communities. Be an influence for good. I realize it takes time and we sometimes don't have time, but do what you can to influence the local situation. Again, for good. Let your light shine, as we just heard. That kind of answered all the questions that we have from my point there.
The next question had to do with future survival, that is surviving hard times that may come upon us. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We know that there are people in this world that definitely would love to change our government and probably put a totalitarian government in. I think that's a possibility. What we'll have to do if that happens is we just have to deal with it from a scriptural standpoint, deal with
was in one of the most corrupt, evil governmental systems that there's been, the Roman system. It was, again, immoral from top to bottom. It kept people from preaching truth as the time went on. And God, in the midst of that evil, set forth the church, set forth the gospel. And I think He showed us that no matter how bad things are, our job does not change. It's the same. As I said, the church teaches, and in Roman time, they didn't have the choice of electing their officers. Well, we do. We just need to exercise it. But no matter how bad things get, just let the church keep on being the church and let Christians be Christians. If it means we get punished, well, so did Paul. So did James. So did Jesus. And we're no better than they are, or were. So let's just do what the Bible says and take the consequences. It's better to take the consequences now of doing right than taking the eternal consequences of doing wrong. So let's just stand and be Christians and let the church again be the church. Let us teach all subjects. Thank you.
Also in prayer.
Jerry, would you do the same prayer?
For the food too.
Our Father in heaven, we humbly bow before you this morning to recognize you as the creator of the world, the creator of people, that we belong to you whether we recognize it or not. We pray, Father, that we as individuals will learn to put aside our own wants and desires when they conflict with your instructions, and to diligently begin to work to make our lives conform to your word, to the standard that you have given us, to the character that you have described for us in your word, and to be that kind of example to those around us, and also to take the effort to teach those around us, that they will be able to make that choice as well. We pray, Father, that as times come, if times get bad for us, if things keep going to where it is dangerous for us to teach the word, that we will accept that danger, accept the consequences, and be faithful to you regardless of what it means to us physically in this life. Let us always remember that